and welcome to the show. You're now locked in with me, your host Saskia Ellis, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how COVID-19 has been affecting people within the music industry and creative industry, and how people within the industry have been coping with the pandemic. We also have a few special guests for you on the show today, those being young upcoming rapper YK Shax, singer-songwriter Christopher Ellis, music producer Valenciaga, and the pop star himself, Papanag. You're not going to want to miss it. Right, well, earlier I had an interview with Christopher Ellis and we spoke about all things music and COVID. Here's how it went. To get a better understanding of how COVID-19 has affected artists, we've invited a professional musician into the studio. So how have you been finding the pandemic lately, like with your line of work?
The pandemic is, well, as you know, as an artist, touring is what we do, and that's the main thing, really, like income and getting out there. So that's been cut off, like straight. So that's been hard. But then there's other sides to it where you can create more. You know, you can be in a studio more. But personally, for me, I'm in love with the stage. So I've been finding it kind of hard, to be honest with you, because I'm in love with the stage. So, you know, 3 tours I was planned and they've all been cancelled. So it's kind of a bummer.
So how do you plan on getting like your music and stuff out there, seeing as you can't like go on tours and go on shows to promote it?
Yeah, maybe that part's easier now, you know, to put music out now is a bit easier because there's more time in the studio. And also, for example, we released a single and we shot the video using the whole pandemic theme, you know. We made everyone send us videos of them in their house dancing to the song, and we put it together. I made like a quarantine video out of it. So, you know, you got to kind of be clever right now and kind of change the strategy to what is happening.
So, like you said, you like the stage a lot. When do you think that the next time you'll probably have a live performance?
Well, it's fun. I did a performance last week, to be honest with you, for the BBC. We did. It was me and like Big Zeeks and that you guys will know. A few artists we did, but it's a show that's gonna be online. You know what I mean? And it was kind of weird to perform with no audience, but we done it, and that's cool. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure when we're gonna get back in front of an audience again, but I'm seeing artists online now put up dates like May 2021, so they're hoping that May we're gonna get back to normal, which would be great. So I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later. You know?
How do you
connect with your audience
yeah.
because you can't do it?
I realised that during the pandemic right now, I realised that I live on the socials a bit more. You know what I mean? So Facebook and Instagram, always checking them and getting a lot of more interaction in the pandemic than before. Because like I said, everyone's in their house. You know what I mean? Everyone's in their house. People are bored. People are watching Netflix. They're listening to music. They're watching podcasts and all these things. So I've been getting more. I've realised that my interaction has gone up. You know what I mean? Especially with the release of the 2 singles. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, yeah, I hope that. The next thing I want to say is this. As a musician, as an artist, right, we're upset we can't tour, but when you sit back and look at what's happening in the world, people are losing loved ones to this corona thing, so losing out on a tour is like nothing, you know what I mean? It's okay to lose a tour compared to someone who's buried there.
So like you said, like you're on social media a lot. Do you think an artist with like not like such a big social platform would kind of suffer in the pandemic with trying to make their music bigger?
Well, this is the time now to kind of capture people when you have their attention. This is in their favour, actually, you know what I mean? Because if there was live shows happening, they'll be out there listening to the big artists and going to all these shows. Whereas now they're at home and people want to discover new music. You know what I mean? So you now have to use your strategy to capture your audience. You know what I mean? I have an audience. I haven't got the biggest audience, but I have an audience and it's growing. You know.
Well, thank you for coming to our interview today. I'm glad you could join us and be guests.
Big up the whole crew.
Yeah.
Respect.
Christopher Ellis says that even though he still misses live performances and touring with the band, he also is grateful for the pandemic as he gets to spend more time with his family and more time to focus on his music. However, not everyone in the music scene agrees. Here's what Valenciaga had to say.
So what inspired you to make these types of beats and not music with lyrics or of a different genre?
So as a young boy, I was given MIDI keyboards
and I started playing around with that. And from my life, I always knew I wanted to do something I enjoyed. And I already knew as a young kid that I enjoyed making music, so I started messing around, with the MIDI keyboards, and I made like a few melodies, and I tried to, add percussion to those melodies, and I started to like how it sounded. And why you said why that genre opposed to other genres, or because I want to do music I listen to myself, because I can usually, analyze. I'm always listening to that kind of music, so I'm analyzing it, seeing how they made it, so I can make it myself. And I like the sound of trap, so that's like what the kind of beats I was making.
So you said you wanted to pursue music. What in the music industry do you want to pursue? Like from making music videos, making like music with real like big artists, or making your own label?
Yeah, so I want to be in like the actual creation aspect of the music. It wouldn't just be beats. I'm working on other projects now, but it's all about making music. The kind you listen to or use to overlay with lyrics if you want. I'm really at the moment. I'm actually trying different things out, see what works for me. But yeah, like anything to do with creation, that's where I'm really interested in, and that's what I like to do.
Okay, so you just said you got some new beats coming out. How different would you say your new beats is to your old beats?
Really, a beat that's coming out, but it is quite different. In fact, it's a project, and it's gonna have like a few different music in it, and it's gonna be like almost one from each genre. I'm gonna have some lo-fi there, some trap, some hype. I'm still really working on that. I'm even thinking of having some like Latino music. I don't know what you call that, reggaeton. Something like that as well. And I'm gonna release it, and I'm gonna see what people engage with more, and depending on what gets more engagement, to speak, is what my next project will be based on. So right now it's more like a testing, just throwing it out there, seeing what works, what doesn't.
I have one last question, actually. This is probably an important one, especially considering the name of the show. I have one last question, which is, how was making music in lockdown for you? Like, was it hard? Was it easy? Like, what did you think of it?
Well, I'd say actually harder. Even though I had a lot more time, like 500% more time than I did before. It was so much lack of inspiration. Just being in my room, not much to do. It completely just killed my workflow, like just what inspires me, and I just didn't really have anything to take it from. So I actually kind of was killing my workflow. Yeah.
All right, that's actually quite different to anything I've heard before. People always say it's like easy or whatever, but thank you for being here, Balenciaga.
You're welcome.
Well, it turns out Balenciaga isn't too happy about that. Well, here in the studio, I'm joined with my co-host Ella for this segment of the show. Do you want to introduce this part?
Sure, Saskia. We can all admit lockdown has turned most of us absolutely mental. Cardi B, Madonna, Jack Black, Kristen Chenoweth and Vanessa Hudgens are just some of the few celebs who seem to be losing their minds while the COVID-19 lockdown.
Madonna was up at 3 a.m. telling everyone what was on her menu for that night.
Let's go eat some fried fish, fried fish. Come on, road, I can go. Pasta, oh no, so we're gonna eat some fried.
Just to clarify, she is a singer, right? What was that?
I don't know. Anyway, Jack Black decided it would be a great idea to dance the WAP choreography wearing Speedos.
Now from the top, make it drop, that's a wet, Now get a bucket and a mop, that's a wet, I'm talking wop, 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 that's a wet, Macaroni.
We also have Vanessa Hudgens giving her unasked for opinion on Corona.
Till July sounds like a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. But, like, it's a virus. I get it. Like, I respect it. But at the same time, like, even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are gonna die. It's just terrible. But, like, inevitable?
On a different note, Lil Uzi got a $64 million diamond implanted on the middle of his forehead.
He explained that the only reason why he got it in his forehead and didn't originally keep it as a ring was because he couldn't trust himself not to lose it. Right, well, we also have Kristen Chenoweth, not only reminding us to wash our hands, but to wash down the things that help us wash our hands.
And last but not least, we have Cardi B, who can speak on how we all feel when it comes to Corona.
And let me tell y'all something, I ain't gonna front. A bitch is scared. I'm a little scared, you know what I'm saying? Like, and let me tell you.
At least it's safe to say we're all turning insane as a collective. But I'm just convinced celebrities are built different.
I know we're all going insane, but they're definitely on a different level. They're not like us. Right, well, thank you, Ella, for being on the show with me for this segment. Love to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, how else to describe this past year other than surreal? Seemingly overnight, it's like the entire fabric of daily life has been turned upside down. And between trying to order groceries online and refresh our TikTok For You pages, it's important we keep ourselves optimistic, energised and entertained, and perhaps a bit distracted. For help in this department, we've decided to turn to the artists to see how they're keeping during these times. As they mentioned, they weren't happy with what Rishi Sunak had to say about struggling creatives having to simply get a different job in a different sector. So how are they dealing with this news and the broader effects of COVID-19? And what are they doing to keep their spirits up in these anxious times? Here's what they said.
Rethink, reskill, reboot. The campaign shocking the nation, especially those in the creative industry. In March, there was a national lockdown, forcing millions out of their jobs, those in the creative industries being highly affected. Artists were stuck, confused, in trouble. No output for their talent. Gigs were cancelled, galleries were shut, production had to stop, which put the creative world at a standstill. After protests and petitions, the government put out a campaign, Rethink, Reskill, Reboot, encouraging creatives into other fields and to rethink their employment.
It's impossible for me to predict, given the uncertainty, the exact shape of the labour market. As I've said, I can't save every job and I can't protect every single business.
British politician Rishi Sunak said musicians and other people in the arts should retrain and find other jobs.
Art is not something to decide to do or decide not to do. All the world needs artists, because otherwise life would be so dull, so meaningless. People wouldn't be able to understand and empathize with each other. People wouldn't be able to channel their energy to positive things.
This sparked an outrage on social media.
I find that campaign quite unfortunate. I do appreciate government's help scheme, furlough and all the other things. Of course, it's not so easy to and sustainable for the government, for a big workforce in creative industries. They have to support all of us.
After being under fire, the government decided to create the skills assessment. It claims to include fewer than 50 multiple choice questions and takes 5 to 10 minutes to complete. We had a few people who are taking creative courses to see what their results would be like. One student was recommended beekeeping, and another was a search and rescue team member. Both students were taken aback by these results. One said it made her feel as if she wasn't needed and her talent was unnecessary.
It was kind of offending, to be honest. It was like the government completely invalidates your whole purpose, your whole plans for the future, your identity as a creative person. They're just saying it's not a real job, It was quite shocking to see that. It is still concerning. It's if the government doesn't care, then what's kind of the point of still trying? But I feel like the people's response to that campaign and everything, not everyone agrees with that, and people do want to do what they like.
Our next guest on the show is someone who aspires to be one of the UK's biggest rappers in the UK scene. If you know the vibes, then you know Shax. Here he is.
So I'm here with YK Shax, and he produces music, and I'm just going to be asking him some questions about music in lockdown and just lockdown itself, kind of. So let's just get straight to it. Was your music affected during the lockdown, like either of the lockdowns?
Yeah, drastically. I'd say it more had an effect on like networking and getting to work with a lot of different people, and that's what I like doing the most. Um, it was more affected by the first lockdown because I didn't have all of my equipment at home that I have now. Um, Before it was just I used to go to college and use what I had there. But since the first lockdown, it's pushed me more to like to get everything I need
Yeah.
so I can do things from home just in case we go through another lockdown, which we ended up going through again.
Yeah, that must not really be good at all, because like I know other people that have done music and interviewed other people, and they felt different or similar. So yeah, but
Yeah.
would you so with that answer, I'm guessing you would say you was less creative through lockdown, but it wasn't your fault.
I'd say I don't think I was less creative. I just had less opportunity to, showcase that creativity, if you get what I mean. So like obviously there was no chance for me to perform. There was no chance for me um to make music. So yeah, again, I wouldn't say I was less creative. I just didn't have as much resources to express that creativity.
Um, this one isn't so much about the lockdown itself, but I am just interested. What are your next projects going to be like if you've got upcoming projects?
Well, I've got an EP coming up. Behind the scenes, I'm working on a few music videos as well. They will come soon. I have a performance coming up. This one's probably gonna be the biggest one I've done yet. And yeah, there's a lot going on right now, and I'm very, very grateful and happy. Yeah, you'll see, you'll see.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you for joining us today.
Right, well, that was a great interview with YK Shax. It was giving very much prison vibes, but we'll blame that on the Zoom quality. So we have a break right now, but after the break, we have Papinag with us. He's going to be doing a live performance for us after his interview. You're not going to want to miss it. Welcome back. In the studio, we have Papinag to my right. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, thank you for having me.
Right, so we'll get straight into the video then. So when did you first start making music, and when did you know that it was for you? That's what you wanted to pursue?
A few years ago, when I realised that I wasn't qualified to do anything, and I failed everything in school.
Really?
Yes, but my favourite hobby sort of stuck with me.
So how did you pick it up? Like, did you just...
Like that.
No, please.
Well, my dad gave me one when I was about 14, 15, because I was always bored at his, and he played, he wanted me to do, so yeah, I did it as well.
Right, so in the future, in like 5 years, where do you see yourself with your music career?
Hopefully with a band, touring, but if not, always got music production, be a producer.
Is that one of your main goals then, to get a band?
Yeah, definitely. That's that's the end game, hopefully. Yeah.
So do you think that with COVID now, it's been harder for you to find a band and
promote definitely, everything? Yeah. It's more the rehearsing that's them finding the people.
And
you need the space and
places.
Money and the time, and you don't have it with COVID.
Yeah. And also finding places to book and stuff, that must be harder as well.
Yeah, gigs don't exist at the moment, so you can't really get your name out there, because that's the best way to get people to see what you're capable of.
Yeah.
So.
Loads of people have been doing like Insta lives and stuff. Have you tried? You might want to try some of that.
I was planning to do one, but I'm very good at procrastinating, so it just hasn't happened yet.
So I heard that you have a new song coming.
New album.
Yeah,
Whole new album, yeah. I've got a few
wow.
new songs out, little tasters of it, but the album should be out in May if I'm not lazy.
How many songs are on there?
Between 8 and 13.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you have, what's your favourite title?
My favourite title?
Like, what's your favourite song in the Bible?
Well, at the moment, most of my song titles are working titles. They're not the
Yeah.
finished ones, but probably Sleepwalker is probably the most mildly interesting of the lot. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you, and thank you the audience for being locked in with us. I'm your host Saskia Ellis, and Papa Nag is going to play his song for us.
Sure.
And see you guys out.
This is a segment from one of my new songs, Sleepwalker. Hope you'll enjoy. Talk about the song. Okay. Well, it's called Sleepwalker. I wrote it about 2 years ago, and I've only just started to record. So
How do you get into the process of like making your songs? Like, is there a certain way you come up with the stuff? How do you zone out? Like, to just focus on music?
Well, for lyrics, I'll normally sit in the middle of my local field by my park. When it's a sunny day, that's the best time to do it. It's just more natural down the end of my garden. For riffs and guitar, yeah, I'm confused.
Oh, well, that's it. That's all we have time for today. Sorry to cut you short.
That's
Thank you
fine.
everyone for watching. Bye. Join us next time.